Hello, solopreneurs. Welcome to the Solopreneur Life Podcast. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt stuck? I know you have. I have. You know, it's those times when you can't seem to get the clients you want. You can't get to that next level of projects that you'd like to be working on. Your fees are so 2005. But let me begin by saying it's not you. You aren't doing anything wrong. You're not unfit to run your own business. You don't need to quit. You're just running up against normal market pressures because, you know what, as fun and energizing as it can be to run your own business, it's still a roller coaster. So sometimes all we have to do is step back and remind ourselves that, you know what, roller coasters are fun. People pay to get on a roller coaster, and you're getting to do it just 'cause. So, like Luke Cage says, always forward, right? So again, welcome to the Solopreneur Life Podcast. I'm your host, Kathryn Aragon, and with me today is my husband, Jonathan, who is running tech for me and who is going to just be on the show with me today. At Solopreneur Life, our mission is to equip you with the skills, habits, and mindsets that you need to grow a thriving business. Your future starts today. So let's build something that gives you real freedom and flexibility. I hope you'll join us every week as we dive into the nitty-gritty of going solo. Today, we are talking about how to manage your expectations, for one, but also your time and the ups and downs of the solopreneur life. But before we dive in, take a minute now to subscribe to the Solopreneur Life Podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Okay, our first topic today is just this. Don't they make it sound too easy when they tell you about this? What is it, Jonathan? Is it a sales pitch or a snow job? I'm not really sure.
I think sometimes it's a little bit of both. You know, we've done some work for clients that it feels like they're making promises that are unrealistic, doesn't it? And it almost feels hard to justify what they're saying, because we know that you're not going to be in 2 months at the six-figure mark. Unless that's
driving a Lamborghini, living in a mansion.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see those videos of them walking around in front of all their stuff, and then you find out later it was all rented.
Got models hanging on their arms.
Right.
They only work on a beach. You know, what do they do in hurricane season? That's what I want to know. The truth of the matter is there are storms, and it does get difficult. And we forget that. We get so wrapped up in that big promise that, oh, I'm going to have this fabulous business and I'll be able to do it really without working at all, which is a blatant lie. That's never going to happen. Right.
I think the difference is, I know, like for you, you're basically at work all the time. I mean, we work from home, but that actually means that we're never away from work. There's always the ability to jump back on the computer and do something. And so it's not about working from the beach. It's about working on my terms.
And at my pace.
Yeah.
Because, like, for instance...
And that's maybe a more legitimate sales pitch. Yeah. As opposed to, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, I run a 7-figure business, and I don't lift a finger ever. You know, that's never going to happen. And I really just think there's so many young solopreneurs, and yet by young I don't mean age, I mean they're just new to it. And they bought into one of those promises. And the reality is they buy the program, they do the training, they think, oh, I'm there, I've got this. And then the struggles start up. And it's so easy to think it's you, that there's something wrong with you, that those other people have magical qualities that I don't have.
Yes.
And I think that's, for me, the biggest wrong that's being done is we need to recalibrate people's expectations.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Your expectations. Because that's what kind of steals your joy. And maybe you talked last week about the percentage of people that some 20% of new businesses fail, and probably because their expectations are off.
Right. Yeah. So we really need to recalibrate and get back to, wait a minute, what are we really trying to do? If what you want is to get rich and do no work, I don't know, you may need to go find a millionaire to marry. I mean, because I don't really know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You missed it there with me.
I had my fingers crossed to the very last minute. Surely he's just lying to me.
He's not really a poor college student. It's just a cover.
That's right.
Sorry.
He wants the girl to love him for who he is. That's what it is. Yeah.
No, not that good an actor, apparently.
Well, the reality is there is a struggle because why? It's not you. It's you're building a business. And businesses take work. No business magically constructs itself, gets all the wheels turning, is strategic, wins out in the marketplace without somebody doing a lot of strategic work. So I want us to just recalibrate that and think again about what we're buying into. Freedom and flexibility, yes, but I'll tell you what, I've gone long periods where I'm in sprints. And in these sprints, I'm working 24/7, 27/4, mind you. That's how I work.
That's how hard she works.
It's hard. All right. So there is, all this energy pouring in, but then you reach a stopping point where you can then slow down and take a break. I'm in one of those breaks right now. We just had a really rough summer where we were working 24/7. We were really pushing to meet all our deadlines and see some growth. And now we've got our feet under us. Things are moving a little more smoothly. So right now, during this period when it's cooling off, it's beautiful outside, we're starting our day outside with a cup of coffee, just enjoying the beautiful day before we come in and dive into work. But the work must happen. There's no way around that. So I liken it, Jonathan, a bit to raising kids. As fun and as fulfilling as it is,
right.
It is hard work. It takes time. And there's really no guarantee that what you're doing today is going to be the right thing.
That's actually a really good analogy because if you think about it, you never clock out of being a parent.
Exactly.
But there are times that you schedule for downtime, for recovery time, for recreational time. But it's never, you never stop being a parent. So you never stop being a business owner.
Right.
You got to think of it's my child, and I have to parent it, don't I?
Yes.
That's a really good analogy when you think of it like that. And so there's downtime, but there's not ever you can unplug, but you never stop being.
I think that's
the business owner.
Yes, exactly. So there's this little piece of your mind that's always working on the business, but it's not. In my mind, I think a lot of people they want to judge that level of work. And trust me, I am anti-hustle because I don't think you need to work yourself into a frenzy to succeed.
Right.
You can pace yourself, and it's kind of zen around my house when I'm at work. But the truth is, you're going to have periods of lots of work, and it's not workaholism. It's simply that it takes that much attention to make sure things don't get out of hand, like parenting.
Right. And I can attest to the fact that you are not hustle. I learned a lot watching Kathryn because my approach, of course, the traditional approach was, to go 90 to nothing, pull the 100-hour weeks so you can get it all done. But I found that didn't we find this together, that the more balanced I got, the more productive I got.
Yes. And the happier we were.
Right.
So one of our tenets is let's optimize for happiness.
Right.
And really slowing the pace just a little bit, not totally, but pulling back and just getting rid of the frenzy, being realistic about the timeline.
Right.
Things like that can really make a difference. So how can you be strategic and get the work done while maintaining that balance?
And that's probably the secret question you're going to address, isn't it?
Yes, it is, actually. So one of the things I came up with, because I really like, every time I come up with a topic, I want to come up with some suggestion for what to do about it. Otherwise, we're just moping and moaning, aren't we? So when you're faced with chaos, how do you handle it? Well, we like to eat. So that's our acronym for this one. Basically, you're going to evaluate, adapt, and tweak. But there's a few steps you need to do before that. So, all right, the first thing you're going to have to do, if things are feeling chaotic and out of control, you need to try to identify the problem. One of the ways I do that is I sit down with a pad of paper, and I go really old school for this because, yes, I can use my tablet and my tablet's pen, and that works okay, but I need to handwrite. I don't want to type this. I just need the tactile. I'm inside my body, I'm inside my life, and I'm just kind of brainstorming and dumping on this piece of paper or on the tablet what's going on in my life, so I can kind of get out of the trees. I'm in the weeds, I'm in the midst of it, and it's too chaotic for me to be able to see what's going on. So I want to step back. I want to be able to see what the problem really is, what's the core. And then, of course, you need to come up with some hypothesis about how to fix it. Now, this is where a lot of people get hung up, especially if you're a perfectionist, because you don't want to move forward unless you're 100% sure this thing will work. And I'm gonna pull the rug out from under you a little bit right now. There is no guarantee. Remember, we're parenting a business. There is no guarantee that this punishment for this child is going to make them a model child tomorrow. It might make them rebellious. And that's how it is in our business. We have to create a hypothesis for how to fix this problem, to fix this behavior, right? And then we need to just try it. So we identify the problem, we create a hypothesis. What do I think will fix this? We try it, and then we eat, evaluate, adapt, and tweak, and we try again. So this is an ongoing process of optimizing your business and your life, because the problem can be anywhere. We're solopreneurs. We live at work and we work at home. I mean, it's just how it is. So the thing you need to fix might be just any of these things. It might have to do with your personal life, a relationship, a child, your car, your home, whatever it is. But whenever it feels chaotic, this 4-step process will help you find the problem, figure out a way to fix it. May not be the right way, but you'll figure it out. Try it, and then eat. Evaluate, adapt, and tweak. Jonathan, your thoughts on that?
Well, this is a great way to pare it down, where, like you said, even with children, you have to experiment with what's going to connect with this child, and so in business you're thinking, what's going to connect with my audience, what's going to what is going to provide the smoothest workflow.
Right.
And so and everybody's different, so you can't really, something. This goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, where we sometimes are dubious about the marketing. Oh, they're promising this, but it's not the same for everybody. So sometimes I resist those systems that say, you do this and you will be successful. There's
Totally.
truth to that.
Totally.
But there's also a lot of truth to the fact that that may work for you. So you are a big proponent of adapting, and you put that in your acronym EAT. You got to evaluate, and then you have to adapt, because this may be ideal for so-and-so, but if a child's learning style is different from the other child, you have to adapt for that child, don't you?
Yes, totally. And, we had 2 children who, ironically, they're very similar, but they respond to the world in completely opposite ways. So
Right.
we did have to behave one way with one child and another way with another child.
Right, and what motivated one child had no motivational value for the other one.
And it wasn't unfair, because neither would have wanted to be treated the other way,
Right.
The key is that as parents, we had to think about what would bring out the best in our children. And that's what we do as business owners. We have to think about, how can I bring out the best in my business, in my clients, in my audience? And there are a lot of layers to that. But that's essentially what creates chaos and how we come up with the answer.
Right. I think that's a great way to put it, and I love the acronym, because EAT. We talk about our businesses, having to make money or we don't eat.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's a great way to
right.
remember this, and I think it's an important distinction that systems are there